Hi everyone, and welcome to the 3WiseMen Sampler. It's a podcast where we mull over matters of minutiae made meaningful and make clearly misinformed decisions. We're 10 episodes in now, and if you haven't heard us yet, here's a little taste of what you've been missing.
Is peanut butter a condiment?
Is there any occasion where it is okay to put clothes on an animal?
Would women be better off laying eggs?
Should obese people pay for 2 seats?
Would it be better to have the power of invisibility or X-ray vision?
Should cremation be mandatory?
If we start making cremation mandatory now, then by the time the zombocalypse comes, which is hopefully not too near now, by the time the zombies rise up, like whatever dead bodies are left, they're all, like super decayed, and you just can kick their heads off really easily. Best case scenario, it'd be crawling zombies.
Yeah, like half torso.
We have no use for dead bodies anyways. I don't know why they keep them around.
Yeah, they take up a lot of really good landscape. I mean, my God.
Yeah.
Prime property.
There'd be a lot less overcrowding if we stopped burying corpses and started planting houses and started building projects.
I'd like to go on record here and state that I still believe the zombie apocalypse is hopefully going to happen in my lifetime, and hopefully while I'm still pretty mobile, because I think it'd be a lot of fun.
A lot of fun, he says. I think it's one of those quotes in the beginning of a zombie movie where then it cuts to you and there's all these arms coming through the wall and you have one shot left. You're like, this is not very fun.
You wouldn't have to have a job anymore. You wouldn't have any of these pressures put on you from society. You get to do whatever you wanted to do, and you get to just survive and kill people. But they're not really people. Well, okay, but let's think about this for a minute. First, when you are buried, you're put into a coffin, which they seal 6 feet under the ground. 6 feet! Whenever you guys go to the ocean and you're in the beach, I'm sure when you were a little kid, you probably buried yourself in the sand under 5 or 6 inches, and it's really hard to get out of that. And that's 5 or 6 inches, let alone 6 feet of dirt.
Yes, it is difficult to suddenly burst from the ground.
Like a big explosion.
It just takes enough wriggling and riling and you'll eventually worm your way up.
Yeah, I mean, zombies have all the time in the world, literally. They're not going to get bored.
When the zombie is attempting to crawl his way out of the grave, how does he know which way is up?
Gravity. How about that?
Well, no.
If you start digging down, you're soon this is...
It's getting hot.
Yeah. Or maybe just 50% of zombies just...
don't make it up, man.
They just burrow into the center of the earth. Should cell phones be banned in schools?
Is bowling a sport?
Should drivers have to retake the driving test every 5 years?
Should a man in Crocs be trusted?
Is it better to get shot or to get stabbed?
The next question is a versus question.
Versus.
Fight.
And it's the Keebler Elves versus Snap, Crackle, and Pop from the Rice Krispies cereal in a fight to the death. I am going to have to go with the Keebler Elves on this one. Mostly, it's a twofold attack, I feel. One is that there's more Keebler Elves. And two, there is a form of leadership within the elves.
They're industrious. I mean, they spend all day toiling in the tree and, working with their hands, and they could just as easily make weapons of destruction if they wanted to, instead of delicious, delicious cookies.
Or they could make poison cookies and trick Snap, Crackle, and Pop into eating them, and then, bam, win.
The subtext of Snap, Crackle, and Pop is, this is what we're going to do to your bones.
Fair enough. So it doesn't actually have anything to do with the cereal they represent.
No.
It's just their reputation.
Yeah, they're more like a street gang.
From before their mascot days.
Exactly. Burn that force to the ground.
I guess fire beats Keebler Elves every time.
Yeah, and that meth lab they have in the bottom of the tree is not going to help.
That's Crackle's specialty.
Or they could just chop the tree down.
That's why they call him Crackle, is because he's actually the master of arson.
Pop is the gun guy, and Snap, he's the melee dude.
He's the snappy dresser.
I thought he broke people's necks, but he also looks great doing it.
In a fedora.
Should you brush your teeth in the shower or in front of the sink?
Should we get rid of the penny?
Do vampires get AIDS from sucking infected blood?
Eat in or take out.
For survival, would you eat an old man or a baby?
Should robots be trusted?
Well, I've never met a robot that I didn't trust. Matter of fact, I've never met a robot, so...
Let's say that you're walking down the street and you see a robot, and the robot's like, "Hello, sir. I am robot number 527. May I please have your social security number?" And you're like, "Oh, that's what a friendly robot. Yes, please."
I mean, well, I guess what I'm trying to say is...
Maybe he'll improve it.
If it's like a robot maid, I trust my robot maid. Because I know that robot was made specifically to be my maid. But if it's some unknown, ominous robot of some type.
Are you saying that your trust in a robot is solely dependent on how its face is manufactured? I would especially not trust any robot in a leather jacket.
Yeah, that would be a robot I would stray away from.
I mean, women love dangerous men. You can only imagine. Julie, if you saw a robot in a leather jacket, I'm sure you could attest that you would be all over that SOB.
Oh, absolutely.
SOBot.
Especially if he had a motorcycle.
If it was a motorcycle.
Oh, I think Paul's right. It's like, why discriminate against all robots? We should get to know each and every one individually, like Dr. King once dreamed.
He was a robot.
Yeah, well, that was the point, wasn't it?
I think I'd need to know who programmed it.
What if it was programmed by, like, a really nice old lady? Like a nun.
I wouldn't really trust that.
Or a maid.
I don't think she'd really know how to program a robot.
It's not so much a robot as a knitted doll.
A doily.
I don't trust that doll.
With its beady eyes. Yeah, they're made of beads.
I've seen Beadier.
If it was priced the same as cow milk, would you drink people milk?
Should ketchup be free for all or rationed behind the counter?
Men can't use the women's room. Law or superstition?
If you notice your boss's fly is open, should you tell them?
Which is worse? Being knocked down by a 6'5", 300-pound man jogging, or a 70-pound girl riding a bike?
Well, I mean, let's say it's not at a street corner; it's in a park.
Same thing. You're standing there, right?
I mean, except that it just makes more sense why a jogger and a biker would be on the same path.
Well, then I'm going to stay with the getting hit by the girl on the bike, because, like, what happens if she rolls up over your ankle, knocks you down, and then goes totally over your entire body?
I gotta agree with Matt. The bike is way more dangerous than the guy. You'd probably just brush off the guy. He would run into you. You would fall down to the ground. And that'd be the end of it. But is her bike all rusted out? Does it have sharp edges? Does your foot get tangled up in the rear tire? It's a whole lot of things. It could be pretty painful.
Let's change this up a bit. What if you're in a boxing ring and there's a 70-pound girl that's wielding a bike to throw at you? Or it's a 300-pound guy jogging at you. I'd say the 300-pound guy jogging at you might almost be less scary than a 70-pound girl swinging a bike at you.
Yeah.
Is a salad without dressing?
Socks, clothing, or accessories?
Would it be better to smoke cigarettes or chew tobacco?
How old is too old when frightening the crap out of someone?
What weighs more, a buttload of rocks or a shit ton of feathers?
All right, next up is our etiquette question.
Etiquette question.
Always correct.
I'm sorry?
Etiquette question.
Etiquette question? All right.
Oh, God. My God, I hope that really doesn't stick.
Got a question?
And a question.
Etiquette question.
If you see a stranger crying, should you ask what is wrong?
This exact thing happened to me the other day. I was in a library studying because that's what I do. I'm a nerd. And there was some woman crying. Like, I heard that she was on the phone because it was in a library.
How rude is it to be talking on your cell phone in a public library?
Yeah. And, like, I guess she got off her cell phone because it got quiet because it's a goddamn library. And, I'm, reading a book or something, and I look over, and she's, crying, and she's making that... It's okay to answer your phone and be like, hey, I'm in a library, I gotta go, okay, bye. Totally different if you answer your phone and carry on a conversation in which makes you cry afterwards.
Hey, you crying there? Yeah, don't answer your phone. What were you thinking? Yeah, maybe you should get home. You wouldn't be crying in public right now if you hadn't just answered your cell phone in a goddamn library. Why don't you take it home? You check your voicemail. Cry on the car ride home.
Send text messages.
That's ingenious, though. If you have really, really bad news to break to someone, like they have cancer, or you're dumping your spouse or something, do it in a library.
You gave your spouse cancer.
Because then they're going to have to keep it down.
I was basically holding the book up and just staring at her. I was hoping that she would get this feeling and turn around and look at me and see me giving her the eyes of you should probably just leave. I kind of wanted to at least maybe hire a guy with a Cessna to write in the sky, "Dear blonde lady, go away."
She wouldn't see that until she left the library sobbing. Well, at that point, you just walk over and tell her to go outside.
Hey, there's something out there for you. Go look.
Hey, maybe we'll cheer you up. She goes outside and looks up at the sky. It's up. Stop crying, you whiny bitch. See, don't you feel better? Because I do.
If nothing else, she should at least appreciate the effort that I obviously had to put into this. Because I think you have to pay by the letter when you have stuff written in the sky.
Plus, you would have to pay someone ahead of time and plans for someone to call her at the library with terrible news. Sounds like a 4-step process.
Yeah. But it'd be better to have a genius child and a slow child, or 2 average children.
Can you trust a beggar to be homeless?
Is any publicity good publicity?
Should we focus cleaning up the Earth or colonizing the Moon?
Are lifetime lesbians virgins? In order to lose your V card,
You gotta get a P in your V.
Yeah, you gotta get plowed a little bit, right?
No, I thought it was your hymen.
Hymen.
What? No, like I mean, girls get their cherry pop horseback riding.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you're not a virgin anymore. Bam. That doesn't count.
If someone is rich enough to have a pony, then they're not a virgin.
Yep.
I want to see that on a commercial. Want to lose your virginity? Ride a horse. Ride a bike. Pogo stick.
Come on down to Joe's horseback ride.
Horseback riding?
Oh.
You'll leave without your virginity guaranteed.
If a horse won't do it, I'll rape you myself.
Or one of my most capable staff members will do it for me while I videotape. Oh my god. Okay, this is going to a dark place. Let's move on. This is getting really bad really fast.
Yeah.